Welcome back, everyone. It's that time again. It's David, aka Faramir4731. I'm bringing you a Finland match, and you can see here I'm on the bottom corner of the Team 2 side, and I'm going to be playing as France, and we're going to start just trudging along and making our way forward as quickly as we can to get to this tree line up here and secure that from the American player. This is a match with all friends, all of my friends, and on my immediate left is going to be Rock, and he's going to be playing as France as well. And to his left is going to be Meacham, and he is going to be playing as the American faction, and he is pushing up to take this tree line. And Ottomansoulajadk is going to be playing as the Ottoman player, but he is really America, as he usually always is, and he is already securing the hill with his light dragoons, and he is pushing his lines up behind. So you can see from the mini-map that we're the red on the mini-map, and our enemies are the blue. Of course, if we're the red, they would be the blue. I'm stating the obvious here. And you can see Meacham is pushing out as far as he possibly can to draw his stakes up. And the Swedish player, which I believe is Warfighter, he is going to be sending his light dragoons up to come and hit his Morgans that are already sitting out here kind of in the open. So he's already taken a pretty nice hit on that Dragoon, and he loses half the strength of his Morgans right there. But Warfighter is going to pay with it with some of his Dragoons, but honestly he's almost knocked out of Morgans, so that's a pretty good trade-off on their part. Meacham is getting his light Dragoons up now. So again, you can see the United Province player is now pushing up his light dragoons to try and take a shot on his Morgans as well. So he's going to be pushing his light goons up, and Rock's going to be laying down some supporting fire on him there. And you can see here that I have pushed out quite a bit. I have pushed out to here. I'm going to be now dropping my stake line, and I'm coming under artillery fire from the ridge line, and my artillery is still making its way forward. Luckily I'm not taking any losses except for 2 men, and I am getting the stakes planted, and it will be a stalemate on the bottom. And Rock is also pushed out, and he is dropped his stake line right here, which is a good spot for it. And now Meacham is under pretty heavy fire from the French player, and he's got all of his tireleurs up, and Meacham is down to 48 on that one. Only got 3 of his there. Light Dragoons coming up here from the United Province player. He's going to be trying to take another shot. He's down to 36 on this one, and he's got his Morgan still here hanging on. Looks like he did get another hit on him here. And I think what he was trying to do is push into him into melee before, but he does get that shot off, and pretty much wipes out that unit to trade Dragoons. So now his Morgans is open up, but he is taking some friendly fire on that. And you can see here that Ottoman has secured the hill, and he is now pushing forward to drop his stakes. He's dropping down off the hill a little bit to support Meacham, and Meacham has a pretty nice reserve, and you can see our lines here set up, and my artillery is now going to be trading fire with the enemy units. There are some hidden in this tree line, so I'm going to be laying down some fire upon that spot. Alright, so now you can you can see the French player has pushed up quite a bit here, and he is now going to be, he is also still taking some shots at the Morgans. Got him down to 21, and he's hitting some of the Dragoons behind. And I think I'm going to be pushing my, I'm pushing my light Dragoons up to assist in his assault. And you can see the enemy fire is now well out of range, and I have only taken 2 losses there, and my howitzer is further up than further forward than his, so I will be able to make a little bit better damage upon his units than he will be upon mine, because he is in this tree line here. Getting pushed forward too much, but yeah, so that's where things are going there. Rock is under a little bit of fire here on his cav. Now that I'm making that push up, you can see Warfighter here, who is on the flank for the enemy. He is going to be pushing his Dragoons over now. He is taking a little bit of fire from that long rifle behind stakes, so some of the stakes are going to be blocking shots, but he is getting some nice shots on him on the way up. But again, Warfighter making another great attack on Ottoman's lights here. Does take only takes 4 losses on that. So he does get some pretty nice shots in here on Ottoman. So now the French player is pushing up some line as well as he is as well. Down here, it's pretty much a stalemate down at the bottom. Most of the action is going to be taking place up here at the early part of this game. Now I'm going to be pushing all the way up. At first I'm going to be trying to support Otto as he's taking the hill, because he is coming under attack from 2 players, the Swedish and the French. So I'm going to be trying to assist him. But I do see that obviously Metehan is taking some pretty big losses against the French player here, because he has lost the light advantage, because he's only got 53 here, 48 and 15, and versus the French player has 56, 52 and 44. So you can see it's pretty big advantage. Now he is going to have a little bit of protection with the stakes here, as you can see the shots hitting into stakes, but he is going to be taking some losses, and that Dragoon behind is going to be taking some hits too. So yeah, so now there's another enemy light unit that has taken the field in the center, and that is going to be 58 men from riflemen from the United Provinces, and looks like he is going to be pushing his men up to push that unit back, which is a good move. So yeah, let's take a look here, see. So that's going to force all his lights back, and he's going to be taking shots in the hiney on the way running on this unit here. So it knocks it down to 51, and now he's going to be taking some shots on them, but they didn't hit. So okay, still stalemate on the bottom. You see artillery fire is still trading, and that player is still coming up way short. And okay, so I'm just holding my Dragoons here. The threat of them being there is going to keep them honest with any cav charges too deep into our territory. So Swedish player has taken part of the hill right here, which is Warfighter. So he was able to get his men up on the hill with his 3 superior line here, but he's not been able to push that much further, and he's going to have to drop back. The long rifles are going to be pushing up and taking shots on him on the way. So let's see here. Things are starting to slow down a little bit, but Rock is putting fire from this position right here with his artillery. He is laying down some fire now upon the French artillery here in the center. And the French player is now going to be pushing his units through the Valley of Death. And so he's in that bottleneck, which is going to hamper him pushing through. He looks like now that he sees the French player has, which is Rock, has put some units that were hidden in the trees. Now he's going to be pushing them up. He's also got another one here. So he's going to be pushing those units back. That forced the Ottoman and, I'm sorry, the French and the Dutch player to pull back. And he does have his riflemen there. Okay, so the American player that is across from me has his cav up in response to my cav. So now he's pulling them down. I'm carefully watching his movements with his cav to see what I'm going to be doing, to see what I can do to help push an advantage here. So seeing that he has his cav here and all the Swedish cav here, I know that an assault must be coming in the center, especially with their lights now starting to push forward. So you see here, Metehan is pulling back, trying to get into the tree line. He is coming under quite a bit of artillery fire here, you can see, getting 6 shots all at once. His Morgan's down to 14 men. They're still hanging in there, but just barely. Okay. All these units bunched up are taking some hits. Okay, so now Metehan is going to be pushing these Minutemen out again to try to take some shots onto these tireleurs. Okay. Does get some shots off, but I think it was on the line. So it's pretty slowed down at this point. Not too much is happening. And let's see here. Nice shot there by Rock's artillery. Okay. Here comes in the enemy artillery fire. As you can see, it is putting a beating on this Minutemen here. They should have gas masks on. It's pretty foggy. Okay. Yeah, so looks like they're starting to pull back a little bit. That assault didn't go as they, I think, were desiring, and now I have moved my cav up here to the center because Metehan had pulled his Minutemen out. So, but he didn't pull forward enough, and so I'm going to pull my cav back for the moment. The American player is now pushing his cav forward, and his guards are taking a little shots from the lights on their march forward. And my cav gets hit a little bit by those lights on their journey back. Okay, so I lost 8 men on that. Rock got another artilleryman right there. You can see absolutely nothing happening down here. Everybody's waiting to see how this battle takes place up on the top of the hill. Okay, now I'm going to be considering pulling my cav down to make an assault elsewhere, because there's just not a good point for me to be able to attack from. So, okay. There is actually a gap here where they could have pushed their cav through to get to Meacham's art, but they didn't take that. Now we're starting to get pushed back off this hill a little bit, but that's fine. Really, they're going to pay for the march forward. So, let's see. There goes my cav down to the bottom. I'm gonna, I believe, and it's pulling the American cav away as well. He's gonna stop at the center, I believe, and I'm going all the way down. I'm considering making a push, and I'm going to start shifting my lines up closer to Rock, as he's going to have to start shifting more units up to assist Meacham, as the French player has so many units. He is starting to whittle down on Meacham's position. So you can see here the enemy has a really good attack going right here, and this is a really kind of a tricky spot. So you can see right here, this terrain is not the most advantageous for some of your units to be in if you're making assault, because you'll be hitting the hills right here. You've almost got to push your units if you're wanting to shoot forward. I mean, you got to push them quite a bit to the forward position where those hidden units are of autos right here. If you're coming from Team 1 side, that is. Okay, so this position here is becoming quite a bit of a back and forth. We are starting to chew through our reserves here quite a bit. He's got another guard unit coming in, but he is being hammered right into this pocket. So he's taking fire from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units here, where he's concentrating fire onto him. So he's got several units just tagging them up quite a bit. Okay, so he's got his long rifles now. They're going to be able to take long range shots on one of his units here. And let's see. Yeah, you can see just what they're up against from the ground level. Pretty daunting task. Okay, so I see Rock making a push with his tireleurs, and they're making an assault on these riflemen, and so I'm going to be pushing my cav up to try to knock out the enemy's rifles. Now they do have stakes over here, so I got to be pretty careful of that. And there's a long rifle making their march up, so I'm figuring I can kind of catch them unaware as he's marching forward. He's got another one right here, and see they're walking, so he thinks they're hidden because they're walking, but my cav is pushing forward so I can see him. So now I'm going to actually push one of my cav into that unit. Okay, so I got a shot on him, and now I'm going to hit him. There's a gap right here where there's no stakes, so I'm going to plow right into these longs, and I'm taking artillery fire and everything, but I did end up losing this unit because he does get his cav over, but in the ruckus I'm still should be able to get my lights. As you can see, I took them down to 27, and so I'm going to hit into them. That's going to take them down to 13. They're out of there. Now Rock's going to follow up my cav charge, and we have this unit who's already shot is now pretty exposed, as well as these other units. Now I'm going to push my cav forward to shield his cav, and I'm going to push him up. Now I'm going to push him down onto these units because of the stakes there. I've got to push down and sideways, but now I'm going to go ahead and push through I don't know why I did that, but I did. Rock's going to push through the stakes as well. So not great move by us on our cav there. But yeah, wasn't really pretty. Okay, so now they're kind of in all over the map kind of situation here. So I'm going to be shifting my cav down as his cav comes back. Try and get some shots on his cav, but I'm trying to do it where I don't take shots on him. So here I go, and I do take a couple shots, but now I'm going to hopefully pound into one of these units here. I got some more shots, so now everything happened as I wanted. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into assault onto these guys, and that should free up our units to do something. But yeah, this is a pretty bad cav charge on my part. But good thing is this Dragoon unit here does shoot into his own Dragoon, so he takes a pretty good loss there. But they are clearing out our cav pretty good. We did knock out one of their lights and knock one to half strength. Knocked another long down to 41, another one to 37. So we did do some damage to him. But yeah, so now it's not looking good for my poor cav, as now I'm going to be pushing my lines forward to try to assist in this cav fight right here, because it is not doing well for me. So now I'm shooting my artillery. Since my cav is pretty toast, I'm going to be aiming my art at them. Now they're going to be trying to go after my art. My lines coming up should be able to hopefully take care of them before they get to it. He's having second thoughts. This is a mistake from their perspective because they were winning this fight. And you can see there I take a direct hit on that unit. Not quite a few out, and I still got 27 men. So he's going to be trying to pull his cav out. Now I am taking shots on the way. I'm trying to go behind him. And I think what my intention was to attack him, but try to pull out because I'm taking shots from that long, because he was able to hit me from behind. But now here comes my artillery again, and it overshoots. So finally some action down there, and it wasn't really good on my part. I should have kept it up here to support my ally. That was a really, really bad move on my part. Okay, so now Metehan is going to be pushing out once more. He's got Otto on his left, and you can see again he's going up against not just the front line, a small reserve in the second line, and a pretty large third line of French players. So it's quite a bit to break through. Now I am still taking some shots onto this enemy line right here, because all that movement did push them up, and they're sticking in this position right here. So I'm able to get some free shots on them right here. And he's also taking some fire from artillery here, taking some pretty heavy fire. One of his artillery shots did knock him down to one art on that one, and he still got full on this unit. Okay, so looks like Ottoman is beating back Warfighter right here on this side. Taking this hill can be quite daunting, especially again, Ottoman is actually the United States, so America in the trees is pretty tough, almost similar to a native with their long rifles. And yeah, let's get some nice shots in this line right here from 3 units. One's a Marine, and this one is a Minuteman. So they're going to be putting down a pretty good hail of gunfire on them. Green Marines, they're going to start shooting away now. Okay, it's pretty nice. America looks pretty good in green. Okay. Okay, looks like again, still standstill over here. I've lost all my cav, but I've still got every bit of my line, and only all but just 2 men have been lost of my light infantry. So yeah, he's still got his howitzer too far back. So I mean, this is a pretty good protective spot, but you aren't going to be able to have it too effective if your artillery is this far back. Because if you see, my artillery is right here versus his is way back there. So mine, you can see where the front of my lines are. It's pretty close to where my artillery is. Versus artillery is pretty far back from his line, because he still has some units hidden here in the trees and these units up here. So I'm able to shoot. My range is hitting all these units right here. So okay, these dragoons are still getting shot here. This, I don't know if I said this already, but this recording was from around the beginning of November. So, yeah, a little bit more than a month ago. I think it was like November 2nd is when this game was fought. Okay, so we have here, Warfighter is now making another push to the hill. Really, he doesn't have the men to sustain this push, so he should be pushing out of this, and Ottoman should be forcing everything forward onto him from this vicinity. But yeah, so but he has way more than enough units. He's going to push him back off the hill again, and the French player is now going to have to hold from this spot here as he pulls back. Okay, so now you can see down here still a stalemate, and really nothing's happening. I mean, honestly, we lost all of our cab, but we are trading the difference with our shots on their artillery and on their line and lights. So that's where we're going to have the advantage on the bottom. And you'll see later in this match how that pays in big time. Okay, and Metehan still actually has quite a few units left. So he should be able to sustain, but like I said, the French player has a vast amount of men still left. And that unit here, the Swiss, stacked up on this ridge, it is a good spot because you can take shots like you saw those cav. He's taking some good shots there, but you are leaving yourself very vulnerable to artillery fire. And you put yourself in a position where you can't come around and assist other units. You have to come all the way back out and around. So this can be a tough spot. And he's got grenadiers here as well. So a couple well-placed artillery fire, and those units are going to wish they had a better spot in the map. Okay, so here comes another assault by the French player, and they're feeling the pressure to turn the tide with the Swedish being pushed back. Now he does have all of his riflemen right here, and pretty good strength line. And it looks like the Dutch player has pushed 2 of his Holland Guard up to assist on that flank. So good play by the Dutch player here to assist, and you can see Rock also assisting Meacham with 3 line and 1 cheerleader. Okay, so here comes another push, and you can see here's the perfect example that Swiss is down to 69 and 50 on those Grenadiers, and I think the Grenadiers were full strength. So you can see the bodies here in the trees. That's why I never personally put my units up there. I think it's not a good trade-off. I mean, sure, he did take some shots. Some of these shots also came from other locations that wasn't only from that spot. That's why I never really pushed my units up there. It's pretty darn risky. Okay, so here comes 1st Maryland and a guard unit, and they are going to be getting ready to put some fire down upon these poor Swiss that came to wrong neck of the woods. And these guards are going to start plowing through the fire at platoon fire sometime in the next year. And that Grenadier has already bit the dust. So yeah, the Swiss that was up here is down to 60 now. They're going up. I mean, the Maryland is a pretty darn elite unit. So Swiss are really good too, but versus Maryland, you know, it's not really much competition. He's got some Minutemen coming in here, maybe to meet shield for his Maryland and his guards, and he's got another Minutemen and a light dragoon coming up to possibly run into the French tireleurs. So he has taken some damage from this battle, but there's another shot of artillery on these poor unfortunate souls. Okay, Cass pushing back, so he was able to push back their assault again. Was Meacham. Now, alright, and now fast forward a little bit to a few minutes in the battle, and the enemy is now pushed back. As you can see, their lines are all moving back, as they were all up in our face in this point. These units are still in the same spot, but all these units are now pushing back as Ottoman had wrapped them on the hill. You can see how we're pushed out up here on our flank. So now they're pulling back because they just simply don't have the units to be able to hold that much ground. So okay, so we now have a pretty strong advantage. So it's going to be time that I believe here in a minute. I'll fast forward here a little bit more. Okay, so the Ottoman has started pushing forward to get ready to make an assault here. The Dutch player has pulled a lot of his units from the center up to the top to assist, and now is the time to push the bottom, as they have vacated a lot of units right here at this center part of the field. So that's where we're going to be making our push, is over here. And the hope is that once we push here, they would force up that, because we're kind of sticking our neck out right here, that would force them to push forward here, because I still have longs and other lines back here to push forward and take them out. So my French units are going to be pushing forward, and I'm going to be taking a little bit of fire from my lines, protecting my tirailleurs on the march. Okay, as they're more valuable to me at this point because I want the range. Now his cav is going to be coming up because I see he wisely wheeled his cav down to assist his mate, but it's not going to be quick enough for me to be able to get a shot on these guys here. Now Rock is going to be pushing forward and up to re-strengthen the positions of our allies at the top of the hill. And you can see here the American player is now going to be pushing forward as well. And the goal here again is to try to force them to make a move to the center so that I can still now you can see what I was talking about. I pushed my Royal DuPont over here to push this line infantry out of the trees, and my lights here now have forced up and are pushing him back. So they didn't really push off too strong of an assault there. So I'm just forcing up here a little bit to take some shots on units, and then I'll pull back. I'm not really concerned about too much taking losses on my lines, as I have plenty of those, and I'm really trying to take out their main units, which are their lights at this point. Rock's going to be coming up to assist with his tirailleurs, and Ottoman is pushing forward still more. Okay, now here comes the American assault. Now they're starting to push, and you can see here we're trading shots over stakes, so not many shots are going to land, unfortunately, but in the same regard, not many of theirs are as well. Okay, so here comes the American shift. They're going to be shifting up to the center versus pushing out like I kind of expected. So this is kind of taking a little different twist than I thought. Rock's going to be pushing up onto the hill here next to the Valley of Death. Okay, so Metehan is out here in the center, and he is under fire by their long range, and he's going to have to push forward to at least push his lights back, hopefully. So now you can see from here, I'm going to kind of do an overhead. You can kind of see from the mini map as well. But so here on the top of the hill, they don't have a whole lot of units over here, and you can see they're pretty weak here. And Ottoman has still quite a few units here, and really good quality units as well. He's got all of his long range and his Marines right here, so he's going to start making a push for this area here, because they just don't have a lot. So a lot of the key is going to be this, because they're forced to wrap. We're going to be able to hit this spot right here hard. And you can see here I'm still just targeting his lights with my tirailleurs. I'm only down to 52, and I'm coming under artillery fire. I've got them down to 17. They should be breaking here relatively shortly, and Rock has now got his tirailleurs up, and yeah, so things are starting to progress on our advance. It does look like Otto lost his Marines here, which is not great. So his lights, his long rifles are going to be under pressure because they don't really have support from too close from infantry, heavier infantry that is. But he is getting some great shots on these Holland Guards, which is a really strong unit, and that is very important unit to take down. And okay, so Metehan is pushing up to take this clump of trees. Okay. So I'm going to push my lines forward again to support Rock as he is pushed up, and he will be able to he's putting some good fire down on this line here, and there's another one hidden that he's taken down pretty good. It's already got it down to 79, so that part is looking good. And I'm going to pull my lights back because I saw that cav coming in. Okay. Okay, so Metehan has pushed 4 of his units out here. They're guards, Minutemen, guards, and 1st Maryland. But his 1st Maryland is getting chewed up pretty quick because he's coming under fire by a lot of units, and now he's being wrapped up over here. So our whole top center is in complete jeopardy of breaking. So we've got to break this bottom center here pretty quick. Ottoman can hold these players back because he's on the hill and he's pretty well entrenched, but he's not with a plethora of men left either. So his fight with Warfighter, he was able to push Warfighter back, and really Otto has quite a few units left, but to be able to hold the whole hill, maybe not, because the French player here has just a tremendous amount. I think that's Heavy, who is the French player, if I didn't mention. So now we're tagging up on this line here, and I'm going to try and get this unit over. I'm going to be coming under fire anyway, so why not try to pull over it? But I changed my mind and pull back. Okay, so now the French player is going to be making a push. All he has here is 2 long rifles, and his cav has pushed through his longs, and now he's going through this gap here. He's only going to lose 1 on that stake because he's getting through that gap. He's going to push right by this 1st Delaware and into our artillery. So our art advantage is going to be gone. The 1st Delaware and his dragoons and long rifles are all that stand right here, because he is losing all these units right here. There's no way he's going to be able to pull those back and keep them. They're under too much fire. As they run, they're going to be under fire from long range. So he's in a very bad spot there. So the top is looking pretty bad at this point, and this is going to be our only hope that we can win this fight here. So now keys down here is pushing out here has allowed Rock to tag team these units. So he broke this hidden unit, and now he's doubled up on this unit and broke that unit. So slowly we're whittling this away, and I started taking some shots in this line with my 2 lines, doubling up on that one, and he got him down to 81. Now he's pushing up some Swiss and some line, and that is better than what I have there, so I'm going to pull back and let his long range shoot him up as he moves his other lines out here. So okay, so now I'm going to be shifting all my long range here to the tree line, because all their long range is going to be here. So what's left of them, so he's got 38 and 19, and I've got 41 and 57 and 60, so I've got a tremendous advantage there. Okay. So, yep, now you can see all the Metehan has been destroyed here in the center. Ottoman is now going to be losing his longs here. Like I said, they were a little exposed. So the Dutch cav has gotten into him with assistance from the French cav. And he's going to be shooting the cav as they're in there. But his long rifles are taking a beating in the process. So, did get a nice shot on those Swiss being grouped up there. Okay. And they're standing still, so that's going to allow, again, Rock to just whittle down the Swiss, so, and shooting them with artillery. So he's slowly being, shrunk down in his men there. Now my long rifles, my tireleurs are going to be taking shots into the long rifles, and I'm under artillery fire as well. But I have a vast advantage here. He does have some long rifles there, but I'm going to push him back with my Bulkleys, and I didn't take one shot, so that was pretty great. Okay. Meanwhile, this first Delaware is going to be taking some pretty heavy shots from 2 units here and Swiss as well. So he's going to pull those back, and Rock has come up to support, and he's also got 2 long rifles back here as well. So we don't really have a lot. There's 1 Dragoon unit, and they did push back that assault on the long rifles, so unfortunately he lost quite a few of them. Okay, so he's got 1 infantry VU in reserve still. Okay, and again, holding this tree line right here has been pretty vital for us in this match. We've been able to whittle them down 1 unit at a time. The French player is using the same tactic we did on them, on us. He has grouped up 2 of his line to shoot up 1 of Rock's. So, because he was distracted with other things, so that's going to cause us to take pretty bad damage there. Okay. So you can see we've whittled away. Now they have this gap here in this center portion that they can't fill, and I'm holding back all these units right here with 3 Bulkleys. I know if they try to push through this choke point, I can push up and stack them up, and I also have another Bulkley here, so I can stack them up in this choke point if I need to. Now I'm going to be pushing my lines up, and that's solely to keep their long range back. I want to take care of this artillery fire that's coming in, and I've still got my grenadiers back here, and I'll be pushing every unit I got up into the fray here in a minute. But I did this to shield Rock from making this move here, and he's kind of got a strange angle, so he's going to be taking some shots here on his flank, so I've got to shore up that flank right there. But he does get some really good shots on the French player here, so he repays the favor that the French player gave to him earlier, and looks like he's going to lose 1 of his tireleurs right here. Got 1 line unit out of whack right here, so you can see I did lose a my roll de pont, but that was a fine trade-off for me at the point. So right now at this point, his artillery is getting shot from my firing into this line, so he's losing men. That was kind of my point, because he had that line right there. So any shots I take at this line at the Marine are gonna go into the howitzer behind, and that's why I pushed him. So I lost a unit there, but I was able to take 2 volleys, and I knocked out 8 of their artillery and also some Marines as well. But so there was several purposes I wanted to do from that point. Now my Bulkleys have started opening fire on these Minutemen that were pushing forward, and you can see how effective the Bulkleys are. I just melted this Minuteman right here with 2 line fires. Now my Trulures are going to be able to take them down more as my Bulkleys do reload. So, okay. So here, Rock is outnumbered 4 to 2, and he does end up breaking this one unit that was there originally, but he's against 3 units now. They're pretty depleted units, but altogether he's got 128, and he's going up against 89 and 63, so he's you know, outnumbered there. And now the Swedish player is going to be pushing down as the flank up here is lost. Their hope is to break us here, so they're going to be pushing down everything into us. So I'm going to be taking shots at the general. Or I know what happened. Actually, the warfighter dropped, and that's what happened there. So that's why his units are going all kinds of crazy. So that helps us quite a bit, because those units would still be up here if it wasn't the case. So this plays a major advantage, but it does give me a little bit of trouble right now in the meantime, because it's going to push Rock back, because these are basically a meat shield. So it's going to kind of muck up what we wanted to do here, as now I'm taking shots on my flank. You can see here they're melting me pretty good here on this line unit. So now I'm going to pull back, and I've still got my long range advantage. Again, I'm going to take the risk on getting hit by artillery, because I can, you know, I've got other units. I don't need the long range at this point. Okay. Because honestly, the ammo won't last forever on your long range anyway. Okay. So now I'm going to start bringing up my Grenadiers. And okay, up here, just Otto is starting to wrap around on the hill. The French player is the only thing holding us back over here, and he's got to stretch everything he's got now. So he's not going to be able to sustain this fight against Rock for too much longer. He's going to have to pull out and wrap back, because Otto is pushing that flank. Okay, so the only thing Meacham has left is a few units right here. Rock's going to support Otto in this push. And over here, as the American player pushes out, I'm going to put some punishment on him, roll my units back in basically in order, although I got this one walking, unfortunately. So I've got this unit here to hold back while I now have these guys formed up. They'll start shooting as these guys pull back. And my long range will. Of course, I am under fire, but you know, again, I gotta take this risk right now. Okay, so again, taking shots in the Marines, and here comes this Minuteman that was shot down earlier, and so now I've got 2 Bulkleys on my flank right here, and I have these 2 Bulkleys are going to be holding against these 3 Minutemen, because he did wrap the rest of his army into the woodland. So now he's pretty entrenched in this woodland. So I've got this line infantry. What I'm going to try and do is push back the riflemen of the AI, and also try to go in here to provide a distraction, because this line ain't going to last too terribly long. I need the distraction more than anything else. Now my artillery I pushed up, and it's now going to start laying some pretty good fire down on them. Okay. So another French line is going to start breaking here. Looks like the Swiss now are coming back from the top to start firing into Rock's flank here. And yeah. Okay, so you can see this unit here is tied up these longs, so it's not bothering me at the moment. And, I mean the longs, but the riflemen of the AI now. So here comes the rest of the Dutch lines. So he's got Holland Guard of 115 and 52, and a Swiss of 72. So all elite infantry, backed up by some line infantry and some more AI-controlled Swedish units. And unfortunately, this unit did volley into the Swedish. So, but that's fine. It'll take them down here. Okay. So now Meacham and Rock are going to be making a push on the remainder of the French lines here. They do outnumber them, so, and that's going to pin this line of Swiss here. But unfortunately, one thing happens right here. This line and this line are going to break. So that's now, ooh, God. He just took a massive shot here. Mowed down that Swiss. Okay. Okay, so we're taking some pretty good fire here. I do lose that line that was over here fighting in melee, and one of my tillers has got a mind of its own, and actually two of them. I think it was because I clicked fire orders and they walked up. But I pushed my two Bulkleys up to push them back, and I'm going to lay down some fire into all these guys in the woodland, and now I'm going to push the rest of my units forward and start my assault on the woodland, as it is a tight game right now. So another French line breaks here, so Rock's got a couple units right here left. We need Otto to start pushing down, help take down this flank here, and basically pincer him in. Okay. Rock's going to be pulling his two units back wisely as he's going up against all those elites. And my two units are set up, so I'll be able to fire and then fall back. Okay. Still, these units standing still, so I'm going to move my two Bulkleys here to the woodland to prepare for, if I need to push them into the fray, they can go in. Okay, so I am taking some damage with my one Bulkley here. He's down to 64. My other one is still strong with 98, but I am still taking more of, I think I'm getting the better of it, because I've got these guys down to now 64. Now here comes the third rank of fire, and down to 55. So I'm definitely coming out better on this. Okay, and now my other units are going to be able to start pouring in some fire. Okay, so Ottoman is now really getting things growing on that side, and Rock's going to be shifting forward. There's not much here, so hopefully he can break them with the units he's got. He's going to be trying to now also push the rest of his units up. I think, did he move that? Okay, yeah, he's got this infantry VU pushing forward as well, so that's going to help. Okay, so now the Minutemen here, I think he was trying to decide to push them into the woodland or try to flank me, because I think he sees one hidden, doesn't see that one hidden, just sees this one, so he's going to try and wrap around me, and that was the move I was hoping he would try to make. as I'm going to quickly react to that. Okay, so now that Minuteman is broke, and he is in a world of hurt at this point. You can see I'm taking shots at his cav over there with my artillery unit, and okay, here comes the Minutemen, and here comes the trap. So you see how quickly I was able to wheel my guys around, because he's got to come through that choke point and come around it to try to flank me. Okay. So now, as things stand, we have condensed them down to a small glass stand right here. And I believe what they're going to try to do after we try to push them out is try to push back into this woodland, as Ottoman has wrapped all the way around over to here now. So they're in complete jeopardy. This pretty much is good game, unless they can beat me somehow. But at this point, that just looks pretty difficult at this point. Okay, they are breaking my lights, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of slow things down a little bit here to give Ottoman a chance to wrap them. Okay, now I'm going to be making my move here. There's no need to wait because I have now broken their long rifles, so it was a trade. I lost one of my lights for theirs, but I still have way more. You can see I've got almost two pretty strong units here. So my grenadiers are going to be taking shots here into them, and I got this line is going to be taking shots. So now I'm going to do something else. As you can see, I got my Bulkley here. It's going to be pushing into the woodland. One of our generals just died. That would be Metehan. Okay. Now, you can see they're using their Marines to shoot at one of my other units. So I'm going to push my Grenadiers up and throw grenades into his Marines. They're all stacked up into the trees. And it looks like he's got one unit facing the wrong way too, in the confusion. So here comes the grenades. And he had 72. Oh my god, he's down to 28 now. So you like that. Okay, so now we're going to throw some more grenades. If they didn't have enough of that, we're going to chunk some more. Maybe we didn't get it off there, but yeah, he actually does have that unit facing the wrong way, which does happen from time to time. Okay, so they are shooting me now, but I think I'm going to try and throw another grenade volley. Yep. Nope, they're reloading. Okay. Okay. Come on, boys, do something. Here it goes. Grenade volley coming. Who's at 33? Showering, raining grenades. That took him down to 19. And that Marine unit is gone. Okay. So now my two Bulkley and Trilliers are taking them down. And you can see over here I was able to take out their Minutemen, and I'm laying down artillery fire on them, and I have all three of my Bulkleys, two of them full strength over here. Okay, you can see now it's starting to get contagious here, the routing. So I did lose one of my lines here, but I am really taking down their most valuable Marines right here. Okay, so I got my Trillier here that was kind of a mistake. I believe his howitzer is down. Okay. So, oh, there was another grenade throw. I heard it. Okay, so now I'm going to start pushing my Marines, I believe, into melee. Got my Trillers walking. I don't know what happened there, but here goes my Bulkleys. Getting some fire down. Okay. So he's got one Marine unit there. Howitzer's pretty much done. Long rifle, Minutemen, General Bodyguard, he's pretty much toast. Okay, there goes another grenade throw, and that Marine is going to be done. Okay. Meanwhile, down here, I just went ahead and threw my guys into melee against these two Minutemen. One first, and see, I got so much going on over here that it caused a distraction to where I was able to go into melee against one of his guys, because he's busy trying to micro all these guys over here. So yeah, I'm just slowly breaking him down. He is almost completely spent here now. Okay. So unfortunately I take some artillery fire here from friendly fire, so that knocks me down to under 100 men on both of those units, and I'm going to push into melee, which I shouldn't have. I should have lined up and gotten into a firefight with them. And I'm going to move one of my guys out, and I think I'm going to take point blank fire here. Yep. Take point blank fire, drops me down to 79 on that. So even still, that should be enough with a Bulkley going into Minutemen. I should be able to win that fight pretty easy. As you can see, they're going to start dropping. Okay. Alright. So they're going to now leave the woodland, and I have taken the woodland, and this allows now Rock free ability to use all of his units versus the French player, and as well the Ottoman is able to hit him from both sides. So they're basically being pincered. Now the United Province player pushed his general through and got to my artillery, and down here, let's see, he's at 52 and I'm at 57, so I do have the advantage now, where I was down in the I think it was like 79, and he had like 100 and something. Now he's down to 44 and I'm down to 54. So yeah, this advantage will keep pushing in my favor. There he goes, he's broken. So Bulkley's save the day. Okay, and there goes another general, and it is Ego is out. General's down. Alright, so now they're going to the woodland here. French player is got 2 units trapped, and that's pretty much it on this game. Fast forward, as the game is pretty well over with. So yeah, you can see how you can make some bad mistakes with your cav and still come through, like I did. I made a really bad move with my cav, and I was able to recover quite a bit from that. As you can see, Ottoman just finishing off the guys in the woodland here. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, as it does help the channel. It helps us grow and be able to provide more content. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.